Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into some really concise, punchy statements from an ancient text.
Yeah, like little wisdom shots.
Exactly. The idea is to unpack them, see what they mean for, understanding things today without reading huge books.
Get those aha moments, but efficiently.
Right. Ready to maybe shift your perspective a bit. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the first one really grabs you. Sincere words are not elegant. Elegant words are not sincere.
Mm-hmm. It immediately makes you think, doesn't it? About, plain speaking versus really polished language.
Well, yeah. How often does something sound too good to be true? Or just overly slick?
We've all been there. That smooth presentation where you're left wondering,
Yep.
okay, but what was the actual substance?
Exactly. It suggests that maybe when the focus is all on the elegance, the sincerity might take a backseat.
Like the effort goes into the wrapping, not the gift itself.
Sort of. Or that fancy language might even be used to, obscure, persuade, rather than just state things plainly. It's something for you to watch out for when you're taking in information.
Okay, interesting. That naturally leads to the next one, which is, well, potentially a bit controversial today. The good do not dispute. Those who dispute are not good.
Ooh, yeah. In a world that loves a good argument, that definitely gives you pause.
It does. What's the thinking there? That true goodness, or maybe understanding, lies elsewhere.
Well, it could suggest that constantly needing to debate or argue might stem from maybe insecurity or a lack of real deep understanding.
Rather than just accepting or trying to comprehend another view.
Precisely. If the goal is just to win the argument, are you really learning? Or just reinforcing your own position?
So for you listening, maybe think about whether the aim is understanding or just being right.
It's a different way to approach disagreements, definitely. Less friction, maybe more insight.
Right. Okay, next up. The knowledgeable are not broad, the broad are not knowledgeable.
Ah, the classic depth versus breadth dilemma.
Totally. We feel this pressure, right?
Yeah.
To know a little bit about everything.
We do, but this suggests that true, deep knowing often comes from focus, specialization.
Being an expert in one thing rather than a dabbler in many.
Kind of. It implies that spreading yourself too thin might mean your understanding stays superficial across the board. Genuine insight needs, digging deeper.
So if you're trying to get truly informed, maybe it's better to pick your battles. Focus your energy.
Yeah, choose where you want that real depth, rather than just skimming headlines everywhere. Quality over quantity, perhaps.
That makes sense. Okay, shifting gears a bit with this one. The sage does not hoard. The more they do for others, the more they possess. The more they give to others, the more they gain.
The paradox of giving. It feels counterintuitive at first.
It does. Give away to gain. How does that work, especially with something like knowledge?
Well, think about it. When you share knowledge, maybe explain something to someone else, what happens?
You have to understand it better yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
To articulate it clearly.
Exactly. Teaching or sharing forces you to solidify your own grasp. And helping others with your knowledge.
Yeah.
That often leads to new connections, new insights, maybe even gratitude, which is its own kind of gain.
So knowledge isn't like a pie where giving away a slice leaves you with less.
Not at all. It seems to suggest it grows when shared or applied for others' benefit. It actually enriches you.
That's a powerful idea for learning and growth. Don't just hoard what you learn. Use it. Share it.
Okay, last one. The way of heaven benefits and does not harm. The way of the sage acts without contending.
Sounds quite philosophical. What's the core message here?
Think of the way of heaven as the natural ideal flow of things. It aims for benefit, for flourishing, not destruction.
Okay, like natural harmony.
Yeah. And the sage, the wise person, tries to align with that. They act constructively, purposefully, but without needing to fight or compete constantly.
So acting without contending isn't about being passive, but about choosing actions that create value without unnecessary conflict.
That seems to be the idea. Seeking mutual benefit, working with the grain rather than constantly pushing against things or others.
How does that apply to, say, learning or seeking knowledge?
Maybe it suggests approaching learning with a mindset of seeking genuine understanding and benefit, rather than trying to win or find fault or compete. A more harmonious way to engage with information and ideas.
Interesting. Okay, so let's quickly pull those threads together. We touched on sincerity often being plain-spoken.
Right, and how elegance can sometimes hide a lack of substance.
Then the idea that constant arguing might not be the best path to understanding.
Compared to seeking acceptance or deeper comprehension.
And the value of deep knowledge over just, broad superficial awareness.
Focus matters.
Plus that paradox gaining more in terms of understanding and maybe even connection by giving and sharing knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge grows when it's used for others.
And finally, this principle of acting constructively, seeking benefit without needless conflict, aligning with a more natural, harmonious way.
Acting without contending.
So as you go about your day, think about which of these really clicks with you. Is it about valuing sincerity, maybe focusing your learning, or perhaps sharing what you know?
Yeah, consider how these ancient bits of wisdom might just offer you a fresh lens on how you take in information and interact with the world around you.